And a good Thursday evening, everybody. Chris McDonald with you on this 16th day of May, 2024. We're grateful to have everybody here with us on a Thursday night. And we have had a wonderful week down south. And if you were with us on the Faith Network this morning, we talked a little bit about the Beautiful Gate Christian Academy. We'll share more of that with you over the weekend on our Sunday morning program. And more than likely, we'll have a Sunday night program. It's Pentecost Sunday. And very, very important weekend this weekend. And we'll talk more about that. But we're grateful wrapping up the week here down south. And we were glad that you're with us tonight. We got several things to talk about. And we'll take your questions at the end. We're grateful to see everybody tonight on YouTube. And everybody that's out there on Facebook tonight, we're grateful for you. Our show tonight is Trump, Garland, King Charles, the debates, and the rest of us. And good to see old Jake Franchise in the house, as always. And Julie, good to see you from Louisiana. And good to see Cleo and Kathy in the house, our moderators tonight, two of them. And blessings to Outdoory and Natalie and Jason. We're going to show you a little thing Jason sent me I think is going to be pretty cool later. And some things that we were sent also from others tonight. And we'll talk to you about that more as we get into the show. And we're grateful for all of you and so forth. I want to go to our news headlines. We want to start out with this little bit of information. I know that most of you have heard by now that I just, you have to laugh at this. The debates... this was yesterday. Of course, it was Wednesday night. We didn't have a regular show at all. We didn't have any shows last night. We were on yesterday morning, so we really wouldn't have talked about this anyway yesterday. But we'll talk about it tonight. But it is hilariously funny what the Biden administration has set forth for the debate forum that is coming up this fall. There's supposed to be 2 debates, from what I understand. I'll just read you this story. President Biden and former President Donald Trump on Wednesday night made their plans to officially debate, but the offer from the Biden team came with several strings attached. And, of course, everything from the Biden administration comes with strings attached. And Trump gave Biden an open invitation to debate anytime, anywhere, and Biden rose to the challenge, telling Trump to make my day in a heavily edited video on social media. Alongside Biden's announcement came a letter from his campaign to the Commission on Presidential Debates, and that letter revealed a few critical limits that Biden's team was placing on any debate between him and Trump. And here are some of those restrictions. Number 1, no audience. No audience. That was the other debate. You can see there, you can see Jill with a mask on and Melania with her mask on. So they don't want any audience. Biden's campaign heavily criticized the CPD for making debates huge spectacles with large audiences in its letters to the organization. The new debates between Trump and Biden must take place in a television studio with just the candidates and the moderator present. Of course they want that. Though, quote, the debate should be conducted for the benefit of the American voters watching on television and at home, not as entertainment for an in-person audience with raucous or disruptive partisans and donors who consume valuable debate time like Democrats, and noisy spectacles for approval or jeering like the Hollywood left, and closet left-wing, radical, crazy, insane, nut-for-brain liberals. Excuse me. As for the case with the original televised debates in 1960, a television studio was just the candidates and moderators is a better, more cost-efficient way to proceed. Focus solely on the, quote, interest of the voters, like Biden really gives 2-bit pins about the interest of the voters, as he has proved over the last 3 years, 5 months, 16 days, 2,500 minutes, 1,600 seconds, and we can't get rid of this enough. Anyway, number 2, interesting here, no RFK Jr. or any third-party candidate. Biden's campaign says the debate must be 1 versus 1 with no third-party candidate. I'm going to get your take on this at the end, so just hold your horses, hold your questions. We're going to give you a chance to chime in on all this. This is a critical demand because it excludes RFK Jr., a long shot, who nevertheless has made his presence known in polls. And his presence, folks, is hurting Joe Biden right now a lot more than it's hurting Donald Trump. The pundits, even Dick Morris, who Dick's not perfect. I mean, he gets things right, but he also gets things wrong sometimes. He's even saying that his internal polling is showing that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is really making an impact on the left more than he is the right. He's definitely taking some votes away from Trump, but his impact right now is being felt on the other way. The debate should be one-on-one, allowing voters to compare the only two candidates with any statistical chance of prevailing in the Electoral College. Kennedy condemned the requirement on the post in a post on X, accusing both Trump and Biden of colluding to block him from the debate stage. Just as Trump and Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% say they do not want. They're trying to exclude me from the debate because they are afraid I would win. I hate to tell you, RFK, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You wouldn't win. You wouldn't win dog catcher, buddy. I mean, I don't have nothing personal against you, but you wouldn't win dog catcher. I mean, just saying, you know. You're as radical as Joe Biden is, but if you take votes away from Joe, I don't care if you post some crazy crap on X. I don't care if you post crazy crap on Facebook. I don't care what your beliefs are. You're a Kennedy, for God's sake. You're a liberal. So if you want to take votes away from Joe, knock yourself out. But you're not going to win, RFK. You wouldn't win dog catcher at the Motel 6. I'm just saying. So they're right. You're not going to win. Keeping viable candidates off the debate stage, quote, undermines democracy. RFK, that's rich coming from you. I will leave that alone. But anyway, number 3, limited news outlets. Biden's demands limit the number. This is the joke. This is the biggest joke of them all. A number of major news outlets that can host the debates. Now, I want you to listen to this crap. It should be hosted by any broadcast organization that hosted a Republican primary debate in 2016, which Trump participated in, and a Democratic primary in 2020, which Biden participated. So neither campaign can assert the sponsoring organization is unacceptable if both candidates have previously debated. Then neither can object to such venue. Now, what I've been told, that would narrow it down to this is hilarious. The CNN, the left-wing rag, ABC, All But Crap Network, the constant CNN. What did I have? I had for a nickname for them. The Constant Nonsense Network, the Clinton News Network. I've got a lot of names for CNN. The Crap News Network. That's what it was. The Crap News Network. The Constant Bullshit Network, and Telemundo. That's the only 4 that the Biden administration, or the Biden campaign now, would agree to. So no Fox News. In other words, no fair and balanced setting up. And you know these moderators on CNN, ABC, CBS, and Telemundo, folks. Telemundo is left of MSNBC. I mean, that's a joke. That's a joke. So that's what the Biden campaign is saying. And there's Funny Joe and President Trump right there. Candidates' mics must mute after time expires. Biden's campaign blasted the CBD for allowing extensive crosstalk and interruptions during the 2020 debate between the two. They now demand that both candidates' microphones be muted once their allotted speaking time expires. There should be firm time limits for answers and alternate news turns to speak so that the time is evenly divided and we have an exchange of views, not a spectacle, as Biden calls it, of mutual interruption. Well, that's what the whole freaking political game is, isn't it? A bunch of morons running the country that all they do is mutually interrupt each other. A candidate's microphone should only be active when it is his turn to speak to promote, quote, adherence to the rules and orderly proceedings. A letter to the CBD criticized them for being unable or unwilling to enforce the rules in the debates. The results was far from indeed entirely inconsistent with the orderly and informative process the letters deserved and should be able to expect this year. Trump has accepted Biden's debate despite the restrictions. However, the first encounter is just a month and a few weeks away, June 27th, to be hosted by CNN. It's an interesting date because that's almost 5 months from the election. There's an eternity that can take place between June and November. So they're going to go at each other in June. And Trump posted today, I'm ready and willing to debate Crooked Joe at the 2 proposed times in June and September. I think September the 2nd is the other one. I would strongly recommend more than 2 debates, and for excitement purposes, a very large venue, although Biden is supposedly afraid of crowds. That's mainly because he doesn't get them. Just tell me when, I'll be there. Let's get ready to rumble. And Biden made the smart aleck remark, make my day today. So they're sort of taunting each other. All right, now, look, folks, this is a joke. This is a joke. If you get in a building and Joe Biden gets in a building with himself and an audience, they're scared. His campaign is scared that Joe is going to stumble in his words and nothing can be done. And they don't want an audience seeing that, even though millions of people will be watching it. But they can control the narrative in the media and claim, this bunch can claim anything. They can claim the tape's been edited. They can claim, well, he really didn't say that. If you ain't got an audience there that heard him actually say it, they can do all sorts of stuff. So just all of this is leaning one way. Now, I've got an opinion about President Trump. I love President Trump. I would not accept these guidelines. I know he wants to debate Joe, and I would tell Joe, you're not the only one that gets to dictate how we debate. And if President Trump goes into these formats with this thing, then whatever happens, he gets what he deserves. That's how I feel about it. I think it's sick. I think it's demented. I don't like any of these rules. I'm not saying that RFK Jr. should have a stage, but I think it would be fair to have one debate. Even in the Reagan years, there was a debate with Reagan, Carter, and John Anderson. I remember John Anderson. I wrote my sophomore 10th grade high school midterm news term paper in the U.S. history on the election of 1980. And I got to know John Anderson really well because I did research on him, and he was the third-party candidate between Reagan and Carter. And they put him on the stage. They put Ross Perot on the stage in 1992. They put, what's the one with the funny ears? Was it Ross Perot? What was the other guy's name? Rand Paul. Ross Perot was the funny ear guy with Bush and Clinton. Well, they put Ross Perot in the debates with McCain and Obama. So third-party candidates need to be heard if they are on the ballot. And from what I understood, I read a report today in Gateway Pundit, yesterday maybe, or one day this week, that RFK has qualified pretty much to be on the ballot in all 50 states. He has got the signatures, he's got the means, and he's done every part of the paperwork right. He is going to be on the ballot in all 50 states. And it's scaring the you-know-what out of the Biden camp. Now, again, I'll have to agree with the Trump and the Biden campaigns if that's what they're believing, that he can't statistically win. I don't think RFK could win. I could beat RFK Jr. probably. Well, I say I could. I probably couldn't. But if chances are Mickey Mouse can run against him and, run a close second. RFK is RFK. I like RFK on some things, but there's just some things this guy's so radical on. He's a Kennedy. For goodness sakes, he's a Kennedy. And the Kennedys are radical leftists and liberals. So I don't know why they're scared of him. They should put him up there and let him have his say. Let the American people decide. You want this left-leaning, rabid liberal as president? Vote for him. You don't? Vote for Trump. Do you want Sleepy Joe and Alzheimer's Joe and nursing home ready Joe? Vote for Joe. But anyway, the network thing bothers me the most. And if I'm President Trump, and you're going to force me to go on CNN, and I think the September one is ABC with Stephanopoulos and that bunch. Joe should be required to go to Fox News because it's only fair that we see a moderated debate by a conservative network, just like we're going to see a moderated debate by a left-leaning network. And the people on CNN, they did it to him in 2020. They're going to do it to him this year, folks. There's not going to be any fair discussion of I guarantee all the hour is going to be they're going to bring up the lawfare, they're going to bring up the law trials, January 6th, they're going to bring up Stormy Daniels, they're going to bring up Michael Cohen, they're going to bring up Trump's personal life again, they're going to bring up Alvin Bragg, they're going to bring up Fani Willis, they're going to bring up all of these trials. That's all that's going to be all night long. It's just going to be a back and forth about Trump's legal problems and his role in J6. That's exactly what they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the issues that really matter to us. And I've got you in the subject line tonight because, folks, all of these things that we're talking about, it affects us. Us, the American people, me and you. We're in this together. We, the people. We the people. And I'm being honest with you folks. If I'm President Trump, I don't know why he agreed to this. I guess he's got a strategy. Trump's, had a great lunch today with Randy Sheldon, my dear buddy, and we just talked about this a little bit. And, he made a statement to me, and it really makes sense. And Randy sort of follows this, and he said, everything Trump does, he has a reason for it. Everything Trump does, he has a purpose behind. And maybe this is one of those purposes. Maybe this is one of those reasons that he knows what he's doing. I would personally not let the Biden administration dictate to me what you and I am going to do debate-wise without me having my say in it and me getting concessions too. And I think in his rabid obsessiveness to debate Joe Biden, Trump is walking into this arena. Now, this can go either way. Perhaps he gets in that arena. Perhaps the CNN anchors are somewhat fair. Maybe they ask Joe Biden if you've got your questions about Hunter. Maybe they ask Joe Biden about the open border. Maybe they ask Joe Biden about a corrupt justice system. Maybe they ask Joe Biden about 9 to 10 to 12% inflation that we've got. Maybe they'll ask Joe Biden about $5 to $6 to $7 worth of gas a gallon in some states again. Maybe they'll ask Joe Biden that why can't you complete one sentence without stumbling over the words? Are you too old to even play a game of checkers with somebody at the mental institution down the road from you? And I don't mean that to be disrespectful tonight, folks, but Joe Biden is mentally incompetent. He is mentally not there. I put it like this. He's either mentally off or he is performing the best act I've ever seen an actor. He deserves an Oscar for what he's doing out there. The man has got Alzheimer's. He's got something. I don't know what it is. And I've had a lot of discussion with friends, and I get a lot of input and back and forth, and some believe this, some don't. I've wondered if it's not an act, because he sure does get clarity. He gets a lot of clarity when it comes to certain issues, and sometimes when he don't want to be stern and like this make my day comment. I mean, he was stumbling through that, but when he threatened Trump and he slanders and slurs the Trump voters and he slanders America and the MAGA movement, he sure is clear-headed about that. But all of a sudden, when it comes to foreign policy and other things, he's not so clear. When it comes to attacking Israel and trashing Israel and betraying Israel, he sure is clear-headed about that. But when it comes to running this country and getting our border safe and stopping this madness about Title IX and basically erasing all lines of genderism where a man can compete with women in sports, and the Biden administration pushing that agenda like there's no tomorrow and erasing the lines of all decency in this nation, in this world, and doing it with a straight face, he sure has got clarity about that. But then when it comes to him running the country, all of a sudden he becomes Nursing Home Joe. It's just a thought. I mean, this is the McFiles. We're entitled to our opinions here, just like everybody else out there. We'll talk about that in a minute when we get to us tonight, because we're going to address us tonight, because that's what us is about. All these things affect us. But we'll get your thoughts on that about the debate. But I found that very intriguing. If I'm President Trump, I tell Joe Biden to take it and shove it. I would rather him not even debate than to go into these CNN forums and ABC, because all those debates are going to be, you mark my word, I may be wrong. And if I'm wrong, you know me, I will get back on this program and I will say I was wrong. I was wrong. I've said that before, and I'm not immune to saying it again. But I believe that what it's going to be is nothing but a bash Trump hour of nothing but J6, and a lot of other stuff. That's just my opinion. I'll get yours in a minute. And so forth. All right, that's one headline tonight. Another story that we heard about, this actually came out, when did this story come out? This was yesterday, day before. The FBI and the Homeland Security are warning tonight of possible threats to the LGBTQ events as Pride Month looms in the distance here in about 2 weeks. June the 1st, June is always Pride Month. Juneteenth is the June 14th, which is completely and absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, federal agencies are warning. I'll just read first paragraph or two, that foreign terrorist organizations or their supporters might target LGBTQ-related events and venues as part of the upcoming June Pride Month. Folks, let me give you something to pause and think about that tonight. When it says foreign terrorist organizations, they're not really concerned about that. What they're trying, this is my opinion, okay? What they're really saying is that they're warning against this right-wing, extreme, mega, conservative Christian who they believe are more threats to the country than Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and all the Middle East put together, and Hamas and Hezbollah. They consider Christian conservatives and whites more of an enemy to this country than those quote-unquote foreign terrorists combined. So what they're really saying, without saying it, they're putting this out there as a narrative that claims that the foreign terrorists are going to be the greater threat. But what they're really trying to tell you that they believe is the greater threat is that they think that we Christians and we white folks and we conservatives are going to target these events in June as Pride Month. And folks, I would not doubt if something happened at one of these events that we would get blamed for it, even if it wasn't a right-wing nut. Even if it wasn't a right-wing nut, we would get blamed for it. We'll talk about this in a minute. I'll get your thoughts on this in a few seconds. But whenever you see stuff like this, folks, they're projecting what they're really trying. Let me reword that. Let me reword that narrative for you. Federal agencies are warning that right-wing, homeland, domestic threat organizations and their supporters or their mega supporters might target the LGBTQ events. And that's just my take on that. You may have another one. June 2024, it will make June the 12th marks the 8th anniversary of the attack of the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. That was the deadliest attack on the LGBT community in U.S. history, leaving 49 dead and 53 wounded at Latin night. It was being celebrated. A gunman, Omar Mateen, was killed by SWAT team members after a 3-hour standoff. He had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. So that's what they're sort of thinking, that may happen again. But folks, that, again, I'm telling you, they're more concerned. I put it like this. Let me just say it like this. And again, we'll chit-chat with you about this in a minute. They are salivating. They are salivating and hoping that if something like this occurs, that it won't be somebody that's pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. They're hoping it's a homegrown right-wing extreme group that then they can label all Christians as doing this or all conservatives feeling this way about the LGBTQ community. And I want to make it clear tonight, folks, we don't judge anybody. We love everybody. Christians don't hate the LGBTQ community, contrary to what people say. We don't hate them. We care for their soul. We care for them. As a free nation, they are actually able to have the lifestyle they seek to have. From a spiritual standpoint, we believe that that is sinful. We believe that it is against God's natural law, but we don't judge them. We pray for them. If they come to me, if one comes to me and says, "What do you think about my lifestyle?" or "What do you think?" I'm not going to do it in a condemning, ugly, hateful way. I will tell them what the Bible says about it. I will let the Lord deal with their heart, and I pray that the Lord opens their eyes and they come to Christ, because that's their only hope. But we don't hate people. We don't hate any group. And for the Westboro Baptist bunch out there that goes around saying God hates FAGSs and God hates gays, they're just as wicked, if not more wicked, than the sin of homosexuality. They're just as bad. And anybody that in their self-righteous anger and their self-righteous rants condemn people to hell and say that they're going to burn in hell, well, there's going to be a lot of people there, folks, and it won't just be the LGBTQ community. It will be all peoples that forsake and reject Christ. All peoples will be there. I know that it's a fair statement, and this is a spiritual moment here on the show tonight, and I'll deal with this more on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, Sunday night program, because it's we got Pride Month coming up, and the Lord's sort of dealing with my heart about a message that is coming in the month of June. But from a spiritual standpoint, there are certain sins that carry greater consequences, without a doubt. Sodom and Gomorrah is a good example of that. But God does not hate the individual. God loves that individual so much that he died for their sins through Christ his Son. God himself did it through Christ. Christ is God. God is Christ. They're two separate people of the Godhead. God the Father is the Spirit. Jesus the Son is the man. But they're equally God. God the Father, God the Son. And God took upon himself the sin, all the sins of mankind, including that man can go free. And we can only pray that that community sees this. I do not like the Pride Month being shoved down our throats. I do not like what the country is about to embrace. It will bring judgment on this land. It will bring judgment on any nation that embraces it. God's law will not change. I'm saying this as a fine line between compassion and conviction. My line of compassion tonight is that we love everybody. We care for you. I've said this many times. This show gets accused of condemning people to hell and condemning this group to hell, and we condemn everybody. We never condemned anybody, folks. Look, we're not trying to send you to hell tonight. I'm trying to do everything in my power on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and these morning Bible studies to keep everybody out of hell I can. And that's how we should feel. But the conviction of what's right and wrong and what is an abomination in God's sight, that doesn't have to challenge that conviction to have compassion. And I'm trying to find that happy medium tonight now, and I hope you understand that, and I think most of you do. Those that are here legitimately, instead of those trying to twist my words, you'll understand that. And but look, we need to pray for this nation. And my heart is heavy because it's not just America, folks. Peru is dealing with some things, legal laws that are going to make this legal. Other nations are doing things tonight that's going to basically promote this lifestyle. It's going to be in your face on everything. I was watching the Major League Baseball games over Mother's Day, and I was noticing the pink bats and the pink shoes. It was for cancer. I guess it was for moms. But I understand that some of these ballparks are going to have Pride Night again, just like they did last year. I'm a sports fan. It grieves my heart to see the publicness of this. And I might as well make one comment. It's going to sound a little biting, but please understand it's coming from a heart of love. But it angers me, this cry for tolerance from the LGBTQ community, that they're fighting and fighting and fighting and screaming and screaming and screaming that we don't accept them. In other words, the heterosexual community does not accept their lifestyle. Well, a Christian will not accept their lifestyle as being biblical. But I do not know of any group in America, folks, that is out there hindering the LGBTQ community from being who they are. And they turn it into a political thing, and then they go out and they shove it in our face. And they basically tell us to be heterosexual is actually wrong. And that's wrong. And I will stand up to that in the most harshest and the most blatant of ways without blinking an eye about it. And not blink and shed one part of my conviction of what I know is right and wrong about this, while at the same time I can have compassion on that soul and pray for their very eternal soul in doing it. But to be having this crap shoved down our face again for another month is not good. It's not good. And it's going to bring a response from heaven eventually. It's going to bring a response from heaven. All right, enough of that. We'll talk about that. Next thing, if you hadn't heard, Mr. Merrick Garland tonight, our illustrious Attorney General, he has been found in contempt by Congress, the House Republicans. This has to do with the Her tapes that basically was the investigation into Joe Biden's handling of classified documents, the same thing, yes, that they're charging President Trump with. And this subpoena, he's claiming, was not legitimate and would harm the DOJ's ability to successfully pursue sensitive investigations. Stick it Stick it, Merrick. Give me a break. I swear, this country, I don't mean this to be ugly tonight. I don't mean this to be ugly. But how can we just get this so stupid? How can we just be this plain, dumb, stupid to say stuff like this? He says that he was visibly irritated that the Republicans were trying to defund Jack Smith's investigation into Trump. Well, duh. You, Mr. Attorney General, have hamstrung Congress from investigating Joe Biden's mishandling of documents. So, of course, you're going to be irritated because you're on a witch hunt. And people that are on witch hunts are always irritated when the witch hunt is called out and the witch hunt is revealed and so forth. That's Steve Bannon right there. He says he's rattled. He's talking about defunding, how we're trying to defund these investigations before the election, how we're issuing subpoenas, yada, yada, yada. Merrick Garland is rattled. James Comer, the House Committee Chairman, he said, quote, the Biden administration does not get to determine what Congress needs and does not need for its oversight of the executive branch the American people deserve. And what they're trying to do, folks, in this, we'll talk about this in a minute too, is to hear the actual audio of his answers to Special Counsel Hur. And I think it's a legitimate request, and I'll get your opinion on this later. He says it's curious that they were refusing to release the audio of Biden's interview with her after they released the redacted transcript that didn't have anything in it because everything was redacted. What we do know is that Joe Biden lied about Robert Hur raising the issue about his dead son, Beau. And the Justice Department, and there's Mr. Hur right there in the picture, defended not bringing charges against Biden because he is a, quote, sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. No wonder he don't want an audience. No wonder he don't want an audience. According to the transcript, Joe Biden forgot when he was vice president and couldn't remember when his son Beau died. I'm sure about that. Okay, we'll see. But we'll keep an eye on this. Don't expect it to go nowhere. I'll get you questions and answers on this later. By the way, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just for the record, 148 Democrats voted against a bill tonight to deport immigrants. And I hate when Breitbart does this. They're not immigrants, Breitbart. They are illegal aliens. They are illegal aliens who attack police. A bill requiring the deportation of illegal aliens, not immigrants, who attack police officers passed the House on Wednesday. But not before 148 Democrats voted against it. The bill passed 265 to 148. 54 Democrats did cross the aisle. It did pass to vote with Republicans to pass the bill. But the story is the 148 Dems that said, we don't want to deport them. And that's a scene from earlier in the year. I think that's probably the New York City issue where these immigrants attacked the cops and some of them wound up in the hospital in serious condition and so forth. You can see some of the other comments. We're getting these stories off Breitbart, and we've got some of these posted in the Telegram room tonight if you'd like to go read them and so forth. But we're going to talk about this story here tomorrow night. The pro-life activist sentence for 2020, the D.C. abortion clinic. We should be on tomorrow night, but we'll definitely deal with this next week because we got Carla Diodesi on standby. Andy Griffin has not been with us in a while, and I want to talk to him about this too. But these old ladies getting thrown in prison, and then you've got this crap right here. None of these people, folks, as you see in that image right there, to my knowledge, were arrested. And it's not just they shouldn't have been arrested. They should have had their carcasses sent back to the countries they came from. And these 148 Democrats should be ashamed of themselves, but I can guarantee you tonight, they're not. They're not. By the way, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this story is, I don't know if you've been following the hush money trial, the sham of a trial. Trump's defense lawyers took Michael Cohen to the cleaners today and took him to the outhouse in the barn and give him a pretty good beating on the stand, to be frank with you. And from what I'm reading, it was not a good day for Alvin Bragg. Cohen has lied on the stand, it looks like, about an October 2016 phone call he claimed was about a payment to Stormy Daniels. And he cannot come out and say it was actually a call for hush money. And during cross-examination, his attorneys Todd Blanche pressed Cohen about the call, which occurred just after 8 p.m. the autumn evening. That was Trump's bodyguard, Keith Schiller, and reports say. The Hill notes Cohen's claimed he spoke to Trump on the call about a payment to Daniels. And Blanche was apparently suggesting he contacted Schiller about harassing calls from a teenage prankster. The New York Times reported that Blanche was implying that it is ridiculous that Michael Cohen might have simultaneously reported a prankster to Keith Schiller and talked to Trump about the hush money payment. And there was no response. And when he asked him about this, Cohen said, I did that. Cohen said, I did exactly what you said. So it was not a good day for Mr. Cohen. It was not a good day for Mr. Bragg. And if you look over here, I'm sort of running my error, and you can see the highlighted story. Stormy Daniels and her husband Blade says we are going to likely leave the U.S. And if you don't read the whole article, we got this on Telegram. They're not just going to wait till Trump wins the election. They're going to leave if he wins this trial. She's split. She's splitting. So anyway, but we'll get your take on that. And that is all of the news articles tonight. I got to show you a couple of cartoons from Branko, my dear buddy, tonight before we take your questions. And then we're going to show you a creepy photo of King Charles and get your take on it. You got to love old Tony Branko. I'm so proud of my buddy. And there is the good one right there. I know some of you heard about the controversy with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem and her killing her puppy. She wrote about this in a memoir. And Branko makes a great point. Over 60 million babies, folks, have been killed, murdered in cold blood up to the 9th month in America. And yet the left is screaming at Kristi Noem for being a puppy killer, when nobody seems to be screaming at the Democrats for being baby killers, and a lot of Republicans with them, just to be frank. Just to be frank and just to be fair. Here's another good one. This is Steve Bannon. We showed him a while ago. And fake news in the media is calling him an alt-right Nazi racist. And the media is doing that. I got something to say about that here before we take your questions. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Here is another great one that Branko put out tonight. This is 1930s Germany. We talked about this Monday night and Tuesday night, folks. This is 2020 America. It's no different. It's absolutely no different. And these university protests, folks, that are supporting Hamas, and these anti-Semitic websites on X, these anti-Semitic things that you're seeing, I'm telling you, it's no different. It's no different than 1930s Germany and 2020 America. And that is extremely correct. By the way, here's another good one about Israel I want to show you tonight. This is a great one by Branko. He's the best. I pledge unshakable support. Biden's telling Mr. Netanyahu there, Prime Minister Netanyahu, election 2024 with the bus coming. He's pushing him under. I think James Akers told us when we talked to him Monday night that he believed it was all politics, and I do too. It's more than that, though, folks. It's an anti-Semitism. Speaking of Stormy Daniels, Branko didn't leave too many stones unturned this week. He was on fire. And this is Trump's lawyer. I'm just gonna let the cartoon speak for itself. His lawyer, of course, as you know, Trump is being gagged, having told he can't talk about the trial by this Nazi judge Marchand, and his lawyer saying, "Why can't she be gagged? Because it sure is crap. TikTok is letting Michael Cohen talk, and it's letting Stormy Daniels talk, and Daniels can go out there and say what she wants to." And her answer is, I guess, what a porn star would say: years of experience. StormySomething.com. I'm not even going to ask. I have to ask Branko what that website says. I'm sure he'll whisper it in my ear. Probably can't repeat it on the show, but I'll let him whisper it in my ear. By the way, here's another good one tonight. Here's another good one tonight. The campus protest, but underneath, folks, underneath is the source of the iceberg. K-12 Marxist indoctrination into your kids. Oppressor versus the oppressed. The indoctrination education of TikTok, China, and Mr. Soros, among other people. Let me just give you a better one. I wish I should have sent Branko a picture of the devil. The devil's behind it, folks, too. Don't ever misunderstand. No, make no mistake about it, folks. This is all driven. This is all driven by the enemy. By the enemy. By the enemy. A couple of other ones real quick. And I know that you Mike Johnson fans are going to just love this one, which Branko again nailed it. There's Representative Hakeem Jeffries. He is the minority speaker. But he's got the lapdog, Mr. Mike Johnson, in his lap. And they've become just alike. They become best buddies. And that's why Mike Johnson is doing these stupid, crazy, insane, blundering things he's doing and deciding things that he's doing. Because he's the lapdog to Hakeem Jeffries. And I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. One more, or two maybe. This is about the Title IX situation we talked about a while ago. Branko had a very wonderful cartoon about this. Excellent cartoon. And Biden is erasing, folks, the lines between women and men's sports. Look, Title IX is basically where it disallows any kind of participation in female sports with males or by males, biological males, whether they're transgender or not. And it's very serious that they're blurring the lines with that. I got to show you something that my dear friend Jason Miller sent me. I love this. Absolutely love this. I don't know if he's out there tonight. He's having to work, but I love this. I'm gonna get a poster. I think I'm gonna put this up in my house somewhere. From the river to the sea. That's the flag you're gonna see. Now that is priceless. And Jason Miller, I don't know if you're out there tonight. Somebody needs to put some fire in the house on that one. Somebody needs to put some fire in the house on that one. Somebody needs to put some fire. Jason, if you're out there, wherever you're at, I'm going to salute you. I'm going to salute you for that one, brother. Because from the river to the sea, that's the only flag you're going to see. It ain't going to take place till Jesus comes, but that's the only flag you're going to see. And as the old saying goes, it's a damn good meme. It's not a meme. It's a meme. It's not a meme. Let's see here. By the way, a couple of news headlines, just little things I picked up and to show you tonight. The U.S. is supposedly, this is out of the Times of Israel just a few days ago, back in February, they had asked Israel to stop targeting Hamas police officers, escorting aid convoys in Gaza, of all things. And yet we're being told that America supports. By the way, this is a picture out of Breitbart tonight. This is the inflation numbers. And Biden is claiming that when he took over, we had 9% inflation. That is such a lie. That is such a lie. We did not have 9% inflation. In fact, it was the economy, folks, was the best under President Trump it had been in 70 years. And you know where it's at tonight. I don't have to tell you that. Most of you are feeling it. And no matter what they're trying to do, they can't stop it because it's a runaway train. They've created this monster, and now they're blaming Trump for it, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. This is a troubling article here, and there are rumors that Hamas is basically planning to set up a base in Turkey, and I don't doubt that. And that would be a very dangerous coalition of groups, folks, against Israel if that takes place. And, of course, America is going to sit back and watch this happen, I'm sure, without any kind of effort to stop it. And don't be surprised if Israel don't step in and stop it herself. But we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out. By the way, from my dear buddy Cleo, this is some Down Under news. This is Scott Morrison. Cleo's a moderator out there and does a great job. But she sent me this because this is an interesting thing. If you don't know this, and I didn't know this, Scott Morrison, the former Australian ambassador, was actually in New York Tuesday. He met with former President Trump at his private residence in New York. It was nice to catch up again, especially given the pile-on he is currently dealing with in the U.S. Was also a good opportunity to discuss AUKUS, which received a warm something. It didn't finish the tweet there. But anyway, Morrison and Trump there. And then, ironically, this was the weird part of this was that, I don't know if this was the same day. I'm assuming it was. It probably was. Mike Pence chimed in, of all people. And he said that Morrison's book, Plans for Your Good, A Prime Minister's Testimony of God's Faithfulness. He said, my friend Australia's former Prime Minister Scott Morrison had a compelling new book coming out, quote, Plans for Your Good, A Prime Minister's Testimony of God's Faithfulness. If you ask anybody in Australia, including Cleo and others, Scott Morrison didn't do anything good for Australia during the coconut cake season. I can't say the other word, they'll shut me down. But during the coconut cake season, Scott Morrison betrayed the country, and he shut it down. But according to Pence, he was a great friend to America during his time, and I know Christians all around the world will agree. No, we won't. No, we won't. Scott Morrison was a terrible prime minister, folks. Now, I'll let the Australians correct me on that if I'm wrong, but he was not a good man, and he did not have any plans for Australia's good. He basically almost destroyed that nation by some of the things he did, and to be frank with you, his actions led to the election of this left-wing loon bomb group that's over Australia tonight, because people rebelled against what Scott Morrison did. And that's why you don't mix brains with the idea that, because you're a Christian, that necessarily means you've got brains. Because sometimes those two things don't go together, sadly. All righty. Now, I've talked about Trump, Garland, the debates. One other quick thing before I get your take on these things tonight. I got to show you this picture, folks. This is a creepy picture. King Charles, not that I care a whole lot about what goes on overseas in Buckingham Palace. Look at that picture. This is the latest king portrait of none other than the prince. He's now a king now. There's the sort of the full view of that. That's an up-close view on the right. And then there's the actual portrait on the left that sits in Buckingham Palace. Now, it's only been out a few days, and I'm going to wait for the crazies to start posting all their theories and conspiracy theories about what this means and all the meanings, and I'll just hold my breath, and I'm sure I'll start getting 10,000 videos and 10,000 emails this week about how this is evil and what this means and what it don't mean and meanings behind this. It's just a creepy picture. I'll get your take on it tonight. But it just looks creepy. That's an opinion. It's just a thought. It just looks creepy. I saw one thing, I have to say this, and I'm not making light of this, folks, because it's really serious. What the person said when they said this was it was almost like he was projecting himself already in hell. That's not something to laugh at. Okay, that's not something to laugh at. I'm not going to go that far tonight, but I'm just saying that picture's just creepy. Somebody needs to get with Prince Charles and say, you might need to rethink your artist guy. All righty. Now, that's what we've got tonight. We've done the talking. Well, Amy, I don't care if he didn't paint it or not. I don't care. It's still creepy. It don't matter whether he painted it or not. It's a creepy picture. He put it out there. So he agreed with the painting. Anyway. Good Lord have mercy. Oh. All right. If you got a comment or a question tonight, let's see, something that I have posted on my Are we still on live? I guess we are on Facebook. I was looking at something here. Something I posted got taken down, I guess. All right. If you got a question, is that a butterfly, Corey says, on his right shoulder? I don't know, Corey. It looks something. Looks like it's something. It might be a butterfly. Let me look at that picture again. Let's look at that butterfly again. Let me look at that picture again. Yeah, that is a butterfly. I'm glad you picked that up. I didn't notice that. There is a butterfly. That's on his right shoulder. That's right. That's our left, but it's his right. Looking at the picture, it's on the left there on the upper part. That is a butterfly. So I don't know what that means, but you're very acute. Roger Hooker says the only thing missing on the painting was horns. I don't know about that, Roger, but it is a creepy picture. Carol Smith says, what does Trump gain? Gain by these debates. After 4 years, we should know how each stands on the issue. You know, Carol, I think that is an excellent question. That is an excellent question. Excellent question. He don't gain a thing by it. He don't gain a thing by it. And that's my point tonight. If I'm Trump, I wouldn't no more go on those debates. He's got nothing to gain. Nothing. And if he's going to give in to Joe Biden's demands, he even has less to gain. And I don't think, and I hope, this is my opinion, his arrogance is going to be the death of him. His arrogance is going to be what's going to ultimately destroy his campaign and his future. If he's doing this to show Joe Biden up on national television, then that's just plain arrogance. That is just arrogance. And so forth. And so I don't know. I don't know what he gains by it. I don't know what he gains by it. All right, Mary Cleveland said there is a vid. Cleo, what would you put there about the suggested monarch programming? I wanted to read that, but Mary Cleveland says there is a vid of this portrait where they turned the pic upside down and it looks like his hands are gripping devil horns. Mary, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And again, we need to be very careful. We need to be very careful of trying to read into this thing. I don't know. I'm going to look at that other picture I put up. I'm just going to bring this full-size photo in. And let me see here. I'll bring this up. And Mary, you may be right. I don't know. It does look like his hands are holding on to something down there. I don't know what that might be. But look, the fact of the matter is this, folks. These royals over there, they're a bunch of strange bunches anyway. That picture ain't going to affect, it don't affect me one way or the other. You know, it's just the long things that these royals do that the world takes notice in. I don't. I just thought it was a creepy picture, you know. I just thought it was a creepy picture. And it ain't going to change my feeling on anything one way or the other, but it is creepy. Anyway. Folks are suggesting that the butterfly is a monarch programming symbol. And she says, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. And I agree, Cleo. I mean, again, that don't surprise me that is out there. And again, I'm waiting for the crazies to come out, and I guarantee you they're probably already out. I just haven't seen it. And King Charles, folks, is not the devil. I'm just being honest with you. Y'all, you need to be careful. I'm seeing all this in the chat room tonight. He's not the devil. Folks, you ain't seen the devil. Can I just be honest with you all? Y'all think you've seen the devil. Y'all not seen the devil. The devil, this painting is far from the devil. There's a man of sin that's coming. And I'm going to tell you something. This painting ain't going to matter to a hill of beans when the man of sin steps out on this earth. Then the world will know who the devil is. This painting is the royal insanity. The painting, I don't care what symbolism's behind it. Folks, that's England's problem. That's England's problem. That's how they rule. That's how their monarchs rule. It ain't the first creepy painting we've had. My God, we had a freaking former president of the country over here in a blue dress with shoes on. And, you know, we saw Obama's portrait with Michelle with that freaky green plant life stuff a few years ago. And folks, that's what liberals do, and that's what liberal leaders do. They just make creepy paintings. And I don't know what it all means. But I think, Sabrina, I'm with you there. I'm staying out of England, that's for sure. Anyway, Patty Isaac says, I have been hearing the Biden administration is coming out with the new virus to hurt people again at election time. Have you heard? Patty, the bird flu is going to be the new thing. Yes, the bird flu is keeping the ear out for that. I don't doubt it. But anything that happens between now and November, and folks, I will say this tonight, and we got about 15 minutes or so we're going to take more of your questions. I'll tell you this, folks, y'all better get your seatbelt on for the next, what is this, May the 16th? We've got roughly 6 months to go till election night, a little bit less than that now, 5 months and 3 weeks. I think that this summer is going to be one of the most volatile, violent summers we've ever seen in this country. I think that what is about to happen is they're gonna play their playbook. They got to play it soon. I think if these law trials fail to get Trump indicted and thrown in jail, which they're hoping for, they're salivating for, then I do not doubt that something else is in the wings. I was talking to Scoot and Randy today. Scoot's the son, Shellnut. And I told them we were looking at the television and we were talking about these debates. And I told them today, I said, we underestimate the power of the media and their influence over people. And we underestimate the power of the devil and the power of the evil one and the power of darkness over people's minds. And all I can tell you is you better get your seatbelt on. You better get your seatbelt on, because what we're about to face in this country is going to be a wild ride. And I think eventually we're in the middle of May. I think at some point in the summer they'll start playing their hand, whatever that hand is. Look, we had James R. on here a few weeks ago, and he predicted that these cases can go either way. And don't be shocked. With all the evidence that shows that Trump's innocent, folks, don't be shocked. This corrupt justice system don't basically convict him. I would not doubt it. I mean, we know the legal part of it, but it's just the way it is. But anyway, and the devil's not a spirit. He is an angel. He is an angel. He is an angel. Jake Franchise, agreed, Chris. Chicago has that Democratic convention in August. Gonna be a field day for law enforcement. But dear buddy Jake is up in Chicago. Jake, I'm praying for you, man. I hope I get to see you one of these days in person and hug your neck. It's good to see you, buddy. It really is good to see you tonight. I'm praying for you, bro. I'm praying for you in August. I'm praying for you all the time, but I'm really praying for you in August. Cleo says she's messaged the artist regarding the mirrored image. So far, someone else chimed in and has told me the image appeared in his Photoshop. A friend is looking at the original to determine either way, and that'd be interesting. I'd like to know the results of that when you find that out, my friend. I think a lot of things, and folks, again, I want to just caution you tonight. Get ready for the crazies to come out of the woodwork. I'm surprised we ain't had more already, to be honest with you. And I was debating whether to even show this thing tonight, but it is part of the narrative. It's part of the mainstream news right now, and everybody's making a big deal about it. So I just want to get your opinion about it, and I'm getting some opinions tonight, which is fine. Jake says, thank you, Chris. I'll take all the prayers I can get. Take all the prayers I can get. You got them, buddy. Jake says they're talking on X, or talking about something called Disease X. Jake, I don't doubt that, buddy. I don't doubt that they're going to come up with a name for this. I just don't. Amy says, Monarch, I believe that's what the butterfly represents, but I'm sure we will hear a bunch of stuff about it. I do too, Amy. As I said, it's not going to, this ain't going to be, I don't doubt that. I'm looking over on Facebook tonight. You Facebook folks been a little quiet on me. If you got a question in Facebook, put that in the house, and we'll take your questions over there tonight. We'll take your questions, comments. Corey says Trump's lawyer is doing a great job on Cross. Cleo says, ask the question, she says, Islamists may clash with LGBTQ. Who will Joe side with? Cleo, that's an excellent question tonight, and I don't know. But that is an excellent observation. That is an excellent observation. Excellent observation. I don't know who he's going to side with. Going to sort of put him in a quandary, won't it? It's going to put him in a quandary. I just found that narrative so intriguing with the FBI that they would actually put something out there in the public. So they're setting the stage for something come June. And who knows what that is. Carol Smith says, all these people who threatened to leave, somebody would start a GoFundMe to buy them a one-way ticket to China. Carol, I'm with you there, brother, sister. I appreciate the comment. I was looking at Jake. I appreciate the sentiment. I'm with you. Get a GoFundMe account and send all these people to China. Get get the people a bus on a one-way ticket. Hey, I thought half the Hollywood stars had already been there by now, Carol, but they didn't. They didn't leave yet, so I don't know. Dennis Floyd says, as soon as the Dems playbook is run out and they realize they have lost, they will declare some emergency and there will be no election. I look for the return of Christ. Dennis, I don't know what they're going to do, buddy. I don't know. I've thought about the election. I thought about that too. It's possible. There's no doubt about it, folks. These folks, look, if they'll weaponize a coconut cake season last year, they'll weaponize anything. And I don't doubt that I think this summer is going to be a very telling 3 months that we've got coming up with these two debates. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff. And I'll put it like this. Dennis. I would not be surprised if we don't have riots again like we had in the summer of 2020. I don't think that it would be a shock to me if we did not have riots like we had in 2020. I really believe that. And Jake, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a violence-filled summer. I truly do. It's going to be a violence-filled summer. It really will be. All righty, folks. We got about 5 minutes. It's 10:15. We've given you an hour. Jake, it's really good to see you tonight, my friend. It really is good to see you. We appreciate you, man. I'm praying for you. Jake is a law enforcement officer in one of the country's worst crime-ridden cities of the world, Chicago. And we're always grateful that you're here, Jake. Proud you're part of the McFiles group, and we thank you for being a faithful listener, and always a pleasure. Hope to see you soon, one of these days. If you got a comment, folks, wrapping this up soon. Y'all been my practice run. We're going to be on the K-Star Radio. We're going to be on the K-Star Radio coming up this summer, actually, and this will be audio. So we've been sort of practicing on you all this week with these audio shows. Have you enjoyed the news headline shows? I hope you have. And I've liked these news headlines. We're going to do more of these. I think these are going to work out. And Roger, I'm going to totally agree with you. I think it's a terrible idea too. I do. I think Carol Smith's comment was, he gains nothing by this. He gains absolutely nothing by this. And Roger, I'm with you 1,000,000%. And Dennis, I'm with you. Look, I'm looking for them to do something crazy, man, before now November. I'm not going to go as far as to say there's not going to be an election. I'll put it like this. They're going to try it. They'll try it. I don't know if they're going to succeed, but I don't doubt they're not going to try something stupid and crazy. I'm with both of you tonight. But Roger, I'm definitely on your page, my friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Back to blue. Back to blue is right. Any other comments tonight? Any other things we've got going on? Put them in the house. We're grateful that you've been with us tonight. And folks, don't forget, we appreciate your donations. Your donations are always needed, always appreciated. PayPal.me/TheMcFiles, Patreon.com/TheMcFiles, Cash.App /$TheMcFiles, ZELLE, ChrisAmaka44 @gmail.com, Venmo, TheMcFilesChris, P.O. Box 50942, Knoxville, Tennessee 37950. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Amy says, I'm more concerned about an attack from the inside. We have people here connecting to take us down from inside. We don't even know who they are. Amy, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think most people that look at this threat, and I think if Jake Franchise, if Jake, I know Jake as a police officer, I'm sure they're concerned about that. Look, I think that that is a greater threat. And look, if you've got 148 Democrats that don't even want to deport people, these illegal aliens that shouldn't be here for attacking police, that should tell you right there that our government, there's certain forces in our government that they don't care about the inside threat either. And they're not going to do nothing about the inside threat. I think the inside threat is far greater tonight, not diminishing the threat from other nations and other groups, but I'm going to tell you the inside threat to this country, folks, is as dangerous and as great as it's ever been in the history of the Republic. In the history of the Republic. And deplorable, I will tell you, it's going to be a very turbulent summer. It really is. It's going to be a turbulent summer, and I would be very concerned. And, Jake, I'm glad you love my state of Tennessee. I'm not from here originally, but I am there now. And it's a good bunch of folks down here. Come see me sometime, man. Come see me. Listen, I appreciate you all tonight. Love you all. I want to just say this tonight, folks. I really deeply appreciate this McFiles audience. Every night, y'all are with us. We appreciate you coming on. I hadn't even checked our X audience. I meant to mention them tonight. I want to thank all these X folks. We got our X audience has really picked up quite a bit. And we're grateful for all of you that have been here tonight. It's been a good crowd. And Rosemary, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the show tonight. I thought it was a good show too. And thank you for being with us, and appreciate you listening tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this news. I like this news forum. I hope we'll do more of this. You'll be able to do this, hear me every night, whenever we can do when we get on K-Star, we're going to be doing these. It will simulcast sometimes with the McFiles, and so it will be sort of similar, and we're going to be moving to more of a format like this as we get into the election year. But we're still going to have a guest. We got Ricky Wilson coming Monday night. We'll have James back with us next week. Brad Johnson, if Brad's recovered, he will be back. Eric Kieran's somewhere out there in the world. And we got some other people. Dory West will be with me Wednesday night. And Holly Pevick will be with me in a special pre-recorded interview one night next week or the next. It's a faith interview. She's going to be talking about the NAR, and you don't want to miss that. And Marcia Montenegro's back. Anthony Branco, Tony Branco, the award-winning artist, will be back with us. I got to leave you on this one. Miller must be working tonight. He would have chimed in on this. I know he would have. But I want to thank Jason Miller. I'm getting a T-shirt with this one. I'm getting a T-shirt with this one. From the river to the sea, that's the flag you're going to see. I think what we need to do is stick our head out the window tonight. I'm going to do a network moment. The network people told you to say I'm mad at something and I'm not going to take it anymore. I think that as a counter-protest to the protesters against Israel tonight, we need to stick our head out the windows tonight, and we need to scream, from the river to the sea, that's the flag you're going to see, and have an Israel flag as we're doing it. Maybe we need to try that one night on the show. That'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Deplorable, you say that if they imprison Trump, the Dems have said they won't certify the election. Well, the Dems, I don't care what they do. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But they're not going to imprison him. I pray they won't. But a lot of these trials have already been put off to next year, so it ain't going to matter. So anyway, listen, we're grateful for you. I got to get out of here tonight. From the river to the sea, this is the only flag you're going to see. Been in a good mood tonight. it's been a good week on the Gulf Coast, and got a lot done. And those kids yesterday at the beautiful Christian Academy touched my heart. We'll talk more about them over the weekend. And listen, I may see you tomorrow night. May do another news show. I'll enjoy these, and more cartoons from Branko if we can find them. And just some thoughts and take your questions on the news. Thank you all. Y'all been great tonight. Great audience. Thank you all for the good questions. And let's just continue to pray for our country. Thank you, Tim Neal. Another great show tonight. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I always enjoy seeing you guys over in Facebook, X, and YouTube. And may the Lord bless all of you tonight. My dearest appreciation to all of you for being with us, folks. We have gotten to an age that we don't take anything for granted these days, but I can tell you we've never, ever, ever taken you for granted for being here every night with us, and we never will. And I'm grateful for each one of you. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you in the morning on the Faith Network, our morning Bible study, and then I'll see you hopefully tomorrow night and over the weekend. Have a good night, everybody. Be blessed out there. Be safe. Pray for each other. Love each other. Hug each other. Be safe. Good night.